Okay, friends, we are on the very last chapter of The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring. It's been a crazy journey, and if you stuck with me this far, I just want to thank you so much just for going on this journey of reading The Fellowship of the Ring with me. Whether you are actively participating in the Lord of the Rings read-along that is happening in fall 2021, or if you're discovering these videos months or years in the future, thank you for going on this journey with me. It's been an honor and a joy as I reread my favorite book of all time with you all and give you the barest scratch on the surface of my own thoughts and insights into the story. So as always, leave comments. I want to know your thoughts. And yeah, let's get into this last chapter of Fellowship. What shall now become of our company that has traveled so far in Fellowship? Shall we turn west with Boromir and go to the wars of Gondor? Or turn east to the fear and shadow? Or shall we break our fellowship and go this way and that, as each may choose? Frodo sat upon the stone and cupped his chin in his hands, staring eastwards, but seeing little with his eyes. All that had happened since Bilbo left the Shire was passing through his mind, and he recalled and pondered everything that he could remember of Gandalf's words. Time went on, and still he was no nearer to a choice. It's so telling. So many times in fantasy stories, we have the characters who, they might struggle, but they know the choice they have to make. And Frodo is the protagonist. He does not know. I think in his heart of hearts, he knows what he has to do. He has been tasked with this quest, and he's volunteered for this quest to go and destroy the ring. But when it comes to the point where he finally has to choose to take that final leg of the journey to Mordor, he's struggling. And I know in my own life, as I said in the last video, I've been at times where I know the decision I have to make, but it just takes a long time to make it because you want to make sure, beyond a shadow of doubt, you're making a right decision and that there truly aren't any other good options. So Frodo's being a very realistic character here, and Aragorn being a wise leader and giving him a little bit of time to make the decision on his own because he knows the decision. It has to be Frodo's own. As the ring bearer, Frodo has to choose. If Aragorn tries to force him one way or another, that wouldn't necessarily help in the situation because Frodo is the ring bearer. The ring would start swaying in different ways and cause conflict that would not bode well for the Fellowship. Which of course we see when Boromir gives that very passionate speech about saving his people. And that really, ironically enough, is what sets Frodo on the decision of, I'm going to go destroy the ring. He literally tells Boromir, you've helped me see clearly. And Boromir gets this moment of hope. And conversely, Frodo's like, no, I see the passion you have, and that's what concerns me. I know now that if I go and bring this ring to Minas Tirith, to Gondor, to try to save the peoples of Middle Earth, that same passion will turn into defeat ultimately, because those things will turn to evil and we will become the next kind of iteration of darkness. And of course, Boromir is not happy with Frodo's decision, and they have their struggle. It was building to that point with Boromir. We've seen the last few chapters, Boromir reached a boiling point, and he is regretful of it, of course, but at that point it's too late, and Frodo flees and does the only thing he can. He puts on the ring, which is a dangerous thing because the great eye of the enemy, the Eye of Sauron, immediately starts searching for him. The two powers strove in him. For a moment, perfectly balanced between their piercing points, he writhed, tormented. Suddenly, he was aware of himself again. Frodo, neither the voice nor the eye, free to choose. So, question for you. The two powers that are striving, one of them is obviously Sauron, but what is the other power? Is it Frodo's own will or something else? If you've read the book before, all three books, you'll probably have an idea of who most Tolkien scholars think the other kind of voice is. But if you haven't read the book before, I want to know what your thoughts are, because it's an interesting thing that two powers are striving there. And Frodo eventually is given kind of the barest moment of time to make a choice of his own free will, which thankfully he does take the ring off. Frodo knows what he must do at that point. He must leave by himself. And it shows the courage of Frodo at that point to leave without saying goodbye. And some people might say he's being a coward about it, but I think he's being a realist. He knows that his fellow hobbits would demand to come with him, and he knows that he would, in his words, have to argue and explain, and I shall never have the heart or the chance to get off. But I must go at once. It's the only way. Frodo knows that the company is so loyal to him that if he is to do this, if evil is already at work at the Fellowship, then he has to go by himself. Not that he is any less evil, so to speak, but at least he won't have to contend with outside forces that are inside forces in a way. So the courage comes from knowing that he's heading off to his potential doom, and he can't even say goodbye. But thankfully we have Sam, good old Sam, come in, and Sam correctly guesses Frodo's mind and finds Frodo at the river already and is able to convince Frodo to go with him. And of course, Sam falling into the water doesn't help Frodo. Frodo knows he has to go save his friend Sam. But Sam basically says, yep, I'm going with you and there's nothing you can say about it. He says it much more eloquently than that in the movie. And you have this moment where master and servant, friend and friend, are able to set off on this journey together on this last leg of this journey. Just two hobbits alone in the wilderness doing what can't possibly be done. So I will leave you there on that note. For you who've never read Lord of the Rings before, we still have 2 books left. Now, shorter books, of course, but a lot is going to happen. So let me know what your thoughts are. What is going to happen to Frodo and Sam? What is going to happen to the rest of the Fellowship? Drop a comment below. Let me know your thoughts on the book, even if you've read it before. Was this a good read or reread for you or not? Let me know your thoughts, and I will see you soon as we start The Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers. Thank you so much for watching.